baby. I was in heaven and we were both butt naked. Your sisters be tripping on the straight up. You all right, homie? I think she done went buck wild. Hold up, I'm gonna go get the pillow.
Good day and good night. Welcome to the High and Low Retrospective, where we rewind the reels on the shows that didn't just entertain, they shifted culture, kicked down the doors, and made space for something bold, loud, and undeniably necessary. Today, we're diving into a series that didn't just break the rules, it rewrote the playbook entirely. A show that danced into our lives, cracked jokes that hit like truth bombs, and launched careers that would change Hollywood forever. Today, we're talking about In Living Color. And if you caught our retrospective on the time In Living Color went toe-to-toe with the Super Bowl halftime show, well, you already know. This wasn't just your average sketch show. Let's get into it.
How you living? What? How you living? What? How you living?
In Living Color.
To understand the impact of In Living Color, and you know I love to do this, you have to rewind to the late 80s and early 90s, a moment when American television was in desperate need of disruption. The major networks were dominated by sitcoms like The Cosby Show, Cheers, and Family Ties, shows that were hugely popular but safe and suburban. Even sketch comedy was playing it safe. Saturday Night Live was the reigning champion, but its edge had dulled, and its cast was light on diversity. Let's just say that. There weren't many mainstream platforms that gave voice or airtime to the raw, unfiltered pulse of Black and Latino culture in America. At the same time, hip-hop was surging from the streets into the mainstream. MTV was just beginning to open its gates to rap videos, thanks in part to the success of acts like Run DMC, Public Enemy, and NWA. Street fashion, slanguage, and music were moving the culture forward, but television hadn't caught up. Representation was lacking, and when it did exist, it was often filtered through a lens that sanitized its edges. Enter Keenen Ivory Wayans, a comedian, writer, and director who had already proven his chops with Hollywood Shuffle and I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker. Wayans saw a gap in the sketch comedy world, a void where the voices of Black and Latino performers were missing. So he pitched a show that would blend edgy humor, fearless satire, and hip-hop energy. Foxx, then a young, scrappy network looking to compete, well, they bit. And in 1990, In Living Color hit the airwaves. And it didn't just arrive, it kicked the door off the hinges. Premiering on Foxx in April 1990, In Living Color was more than a sketch comedy show. It was a cultural earthquake. This was a show that talked and moved like people who weren't seeing themselves reflected on network TV. It tapped directly into the energy of the time, blending hip-hop, politics, social commentary, and irreverent comedy in a way that was totally unprecedented. Foxx gave Keenen Ivory Wayans creative freedom, and he used it to build a show that looked like the world outside, not just the one inside studio gates. The show debuted at a time when Fox itself was still finding its identity, trailing behind ABC, NBC, and CBS. In Living Color didn't just help put the network on the map, it was the map. It set the tone for Fox's edgier, more youth-focused programming, and without In Living Color, there's arguably no Martin, no Living Single, maybe no Simpsons as we know it. This wasn't just sketch comedy, this was a live wire broadcast from the culture. Loud, hilarious, sometimes uncomfortable, but always necessary.
What? Now do a silly clown dance for us.
Oh. Yeah, degrade myself, huh? I don't think so. Homie, don't play that.
In Living Color was a brash, unapologetic variety show with a diverse cast performing sketches that touched on everything from race and class to celebrity culture and absurd stereotypes. It wasn't afraid to ruffle feathers. In Living Color delivered laughs with a side of truth in 5-minute sketches that burned like verses in a Public Enemy song. Many episodes were capped off with live performances by musical guests like Queen Latifah, Mary J. Blige, Jodeci, leaders of the New School, and shout out to the late great Heavy D for that classic theme song. And hey, don't get me started on the Fly Girls.
And of course, we can't forget the lovely ladies of In Living Color, my fly girls. Carrie Ann, Deidre, Lisa, Carrie, and Michelle.
They weren't just background dancers, they were part of the show's DNA, giving it rhythm and style with consistently dynamic routines that added so much flavor to every interlude. Everybody seemed to have their favorite fly girl, and Carrie Ann was definitely mine. But let's not get into that right now. What we should get into is that each episode of In Living Color was a mix of social satire and character-driven comedy. Think SNL by way of Def Comedy Jam. Characters like Homie the Clown.
Homie don't play that.
Wanda.
But you know, I got my own natural blonde hair. I don't need nobody to play.
That's very nice, Wanda. Very nice.
Fire Marshal Bill.
Never better.
They became cultural staples, quotable, iconic, and instantly recognizable. It was raw, it was hilarious, and it was black excellence on full display in primetime.
Now let's meet the bachelor you did pick. Here's bachelor number 2, Paul Nelson.
The cast of In Living Color reads like the Hollywood Walk of Fame before the stars were etched. Keenen Ivory Wayans not only created and hosted the show, he also handpicked a team that would redefine what TV stardom looked like. His brothers Damon Wayans, Sean Wayans, and Marlon Wayans were key players in the lineup, but the cast's brilliance extended far beyond family ties. Take Jim Carrey, then a little-known Canadian comic with a flair for impressions and physical comedy. In Living Color gave him the space to go full throttle, and characters like Fire Marshal Bill became instant classics, laying the groundwork for his breakout roles in Ace Ventura, The Mask, and Dumb and Dumber.
Okay.
Then there was Jamie Foxx, a late addition in season 3 whose charisma and comic chops were undeniable. Characters like Wanda showcased his range, and the show launched him towards stand-up success, an Oscar win for Ray, and superstardom. Jennifer Lopez also got her first major break on the show as one of the original Fly Girls. At the time, she was a Bronx-born dancer trying to break into the industry. In Living Color gave her a platform and visibility that eventually led to acting and a global music career. Behind the scenes, the Fly Girls choreography was shaped by Rosie Perez, who I loved in Do the Right Thing, and whose vision for dynamic hip-hop infused routines added yet another dimension of flair to the show. Her work as choreographer was so influential, it earned her Emmy nominations and became a defining part of In Living Color's identity. Even Chris Rock made a brief appearance on the show before its final season after a stint on Saturday Night Live, underscoring how In Living Color became a revolving door for emerging comedic talent. While Chris Rock's time was short, it speaks to the show's gravity. Everyone wanted to be a part of what In Living Color was doing. In Living Color was an immediate hit. It won an Emmy in its first year and drew a younger, more diverse audience than SNL, but its boldness also brought pushback. Fox censors frequently clashed with Wayans over sketches they deemed too risque or political. A sketch lampooning Mike Tyson and Robin Givens was pulled. Parodies of Oprah, Arsenio Hall, and even gay stereotypes sparked both praise and criticism. Eventually, that tension boiled over. After 4 seasons, Keenen Ivory Wayans left, frustrated with increasing network interference. His siblings followed suit. By the 5th season, most of the original cast was gone, and in 1994, In Living Color aired its final episode. But by then, the impact was done. In Living Color paved the way for diverse sketch comedy. Shows like Chappelle's Show, Key and Peele, and a Black Lady sketch show all owed a debt. It introduced the world to talents who would go on to become box office stars, award winners, and cultural icons. It also shifted the cultural conversation. It made room for hip-hop on primetime TV. It normalized Afro-Latino and Black performers sharing the stage as equals, and it proved that audiences weren't just ready for diversity, they were hungry for it. Even the SNL playbook changed in its wake. You started to see more diversity in the cast, more edge in the sketches. The Wayans family's blueprint were being studied, even if no one wanted to admit it. So that's the High and Low Retrospective on In Living Color, a sketch show that danced, joked, and roared its way into the culture and never really left. Whether it was Homie the Clown refusing to play the game or Jim Carrey setting fire to his own face, the show's best moments live on in reruns, reaction videos, and the DNA of every bold sketch show that followed. If you haven't revisited In Living Color, or only know it through the stars it launched, now's the time to go back. It's not just a TV show, it's a movement, one that changed comedy forever. And thanks in advance for liking, subscribing, and sharing. Join us again for more deep dives into the shows, the movies, the music, and moments that redefine culture. Until next time, stay loud, stay bold, and always remember.
Now what do you see?
Hey, nothing!
That's the same thing your dumb ass get out of the game. Nothing.